Welcome to the Coach Toolbox. I'm your host, Dr. Ajay Nangalia, a leadership coach and counselor. This channel supports your professional and personal development as a leader with research-based and practice-focused learning. And we bring you the best career and life advice from guests who've been there and done that successfully. And now, our session today. Hi, welcome to our conversation today. And today we're going to talk about how we can support our clients boost their self-confidence. And the good bit is we can use some of these ideas to boost our own self-confidence. And the context that I'm talking about, especially when we are starting a new project or a new personal change project or getting into something that we have not tried before, then not only our client, but even we can do with a boost of self-confidence. So today's conversation is about that. So whether you're a team leader, parent, executive coach, or a fitness coach, you can use these insights to support your stakeholders and yourself. Now, actually, the self-efficacy is the term which is technically correct, and self-confidence is the term we use in our day-to-day conversations. Because you see, self-efficacy is that, according to research, is the degree to which an individual believes that he or she can successfully perform a given behavior. That's given behavior. And self-confidence is a bit more generic in that it's not about a specific behavior. But in today's conversation, I'm going to sort of toggle between self-efficacy and really use the term self-confidence because that's something that we can all relate to. So for example, in a wellness journey context, self-efficacy is the belief in one's own capabilities to successfully engage in an exercise program or follow a nutrition management plan and adopt other practices such as mindfulness practice. So in colloquial terms, you or your client must have the self-confidence to stick to the program. Now, the reality is that most times when we start a major personal change initiative, we or our client may lack the confidence in their ability to start or maintain the change process. Therefore, one of the most important things that we do as coaches, fitness coach or leadership coach, is to instill self-efficacy or self-confidence in the client when his or her confidence is not yet strong. And this typically happens at the start of one's journey. So you see, boosting your client's confidence supports their belief in their own ability to start and then stick with the change process. Now, as coaches, we can get a sense of where our client is with respect to the change by having a conversation about the client's previous experience with the change or with the project. So you can engage in a conversation, talk about their experience with what sort of information they have about the subject, because many times they may not have correct information about whatever they're planning to do, especially if you're talking about a fitness or a wellness context. If a client wants to focus on losing weight, he or she may have lots of preconceived notions about nutrition management or needing to go on a diet, which may not have elements of truth in it. We also need to check what information that the client has on the subject. Some of it may be valid, some of it may not be correct. We need to figure out their expectations and concerns about the project or the journey that they are about to start, how they're feeling about it, and what are some of the potential barriers that they foresee, which will perhaps get into the way of adhering to the program. So these elements, talking about their previous experience, what sort of information do they have about the subject, what are their expectations and concerns about the project, how they are feeling about it, and what potential barriers they are likely to foresee will make a big difference in preparing the client to embark on the program. So this conversation around these points is essential to building trust and rapport with your client so that you get information for yourself as a coach on how best to adapt and change the program to suit your client. Now, with this awareness, you can then also motivate your client in the right way and help them build their self-confidence to start the project. So let's understand in a little bit more detail some strategies and tips that you can use as the coach. Now, one easy way for a coach to build their client's confidence is to help your client start with very small steps. Most clients will want
they get excited, they get enthusiastic, and they will set themselves a goal which is perhaps not very realistic, or it is too ambitious. They say, okay, I've been a couch potato my entire life, but now in the next 4 weeks I'm going to do my first 10k, or I want to lose 10 kilos in 4 weeks, or something ridiculous like that. So we need to support them to break tasks into small, easy, manageable steps, and sort of put their goals in correct perspective and create early successes for them, so that it creates a foundation that one can build upon. So if a client gets onto a weight loss journey and does not see the scale giving him or her good news every single day, then we need to explain and inform the client how the actual scale process works, and perhaps that's not the best metrics for them. So we need to be able to support them, create early successes on a strong foundation. So research on this subject points to 6 strategies that you and I can use to build our clients' belief in their own ability to succeed. And I'd like to share a little bit about each of these strategies. Here are the strategies we can use to build our clients' self-confidence. Strategy number 1. Talk to them about their past performance experience. Talk to them, ask them about previous successes that they have had when they started off something new. What can they learn from it? How can they draw the strengths they have used somewhere else to succeed into this particular project? So help the client draw on their confidence, which may come from other areas. And most clients are successful at work or whatever project that they do. So in areas which are non-work related, we can help them draw confidence from those aspects. So number 1 is to help them focus on past performance experiences and draw from that. Number 2 is to share the experience of someone else who's been successful with this project. So it's called vicarious experience. Either share a story or a role model or give an example of others who have succeeded with this journey to encourage and build up the client's confidence that they too can do it. Ask the client who they know from their network who have done something similar or who are on a similar journey and doing well. What can they learn from that person's experience? How can they motivate? How can they use that experience to motivate themselves? So especially when clients are able to relate to somebody else who is similar to them, then they are able to draw confidence from somebody else's success, right? And from somebody else's journey. And so this is called vicarious experience. And it's important for us to be able to have examples to share with the client, or to help the client figure out examples which he or she can relate to. Because if the client can't relate to the example, it's hard to draw any confidence from that. Number 3, so we've spoken about past performance experience, we've spoken about vicarious experience. Number 3 is verbal persuasion. So verbal persuasion means encouraging the client, giving him positive feedback, sharing, success stories, whatever little steps that the client does to encourage them on an ongoing basis, perhaps support them through messages or through WhatsApp or email, send them material which really builds up the impact of what they are doing. So verbal persuasion is something that's so important. So many of us seek it as human beings, but many of us really don't get it. So if you're the coach, chances are very strong that the client will really be built up by the feedback and encouragement from you. And I'm talking about positive feedback, lots and lots of positive feedback. That's number 3, that's verbal persuasion. Number 4 is physiological state appraisal. So client may be feeling upset during the change process, or maybe feeling disappointed or disheartened. Client, perhaps has done 2 weeks of exercise or really has managed diet for this week, but the scale is not showing it. So in such cases, it's important for you to encourage the client to look at the disappointment as part of the learning process, help reframe the pain or soreness that they may be feeling in their body as messages that the body is saying that, oh, okay, we are doing something new. Help the client reframe and reevaluate what they're experiencing into something that's positive, that's moving them towards their long-term goals. So this is physiological state appraisal. The next is emotional state and mood appraisals. So it's important to understand that when a client is upbeat and positive about this change process, it's easier for them to adopt and adhere to the process. But if they are feeling upset or if they don't have positive energy around it, it's so much more difficult to stick to the process. So you and I as coaches, this is where we come in with our own positive energy. We share our energy, our dose we share with them. We can help them feel better about themselves by bringing in a positive, upbeat state. We can engage with them on looking at how they can learn from this experience, how they can become stronger from this experience, what are the benefits that they are going to experience, or what are the benefits that they have set for themselves, and therefore use this as a learning opportunity. And this will help them again get back on track in terms of a positive emotional experience. Finally, the last step that we can use is to help them imagine a positive future. So this is called imaginal experiences. We can ask the client to say, okay, what would it feel like when you actually do that first 10K or when you fit into your new clothes? So we can ask them to imagine what that experience will feel like. Draw energy, power from those imagined experiences of success, of future success. So that's something else that we can support our clients. So mix and match these 6 strategies to see what works. Some clients will be able to relate to some strategies more effectively than others. Adapt each of these to personalize it and really see what works for every client. Each client is different, and I encourage before we start some of this stuff with our clients, let's try it on ourselves and see how it works. So to summarize, it's important for the coach to support the development of the self-confidence of their client, especially when she or he starts off a personal change project in any area of life. And this is important because people with more self-confidence will choose more challenging tasks, or they will set goals and display a commitment to master those tasks. They will also put in their best effort to reach their goals and work even harder to overcome challenges as and when they will arise. So in closing, in our conversation today, we've talked about strategies that we as team leaders and coaches can use to support our stakeholders build their self-confidence so that they are able to get success in whatever change project they have taken up. There is another podcast on this channel on motivating team members and on self-motivation also. So do check out Executive Coach Toolbox and listen to these podcasts. These are just the 2 podcasts before this. So they all tie into personal change and how we can support ourselves, and as coaches or leaders, how we can support our stakeholders. So thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Good luck.
And that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Please connect with us on coachtoolbox@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and review this channel. Details of our ICF-approved coach training programs and our services as executive coaches and coaching supervisors are on www.globalcoachtrust.org. See you in our next session.